Well, welcome back. I hope your time of reflection was fruitful. It probably was not easy. We will find that facing ourselves, looking into our deeper motives and patterns, quite challenging. Over time, we have developed good strategies for avoiding discomfort and anxiety within about issues, about the way we act and live, about how we manage our relationships. And I think just spending some time wondering what it is within us that controls us or that we have developed as a pattern is time well spent. And I hope that this experience has been such that you are willing to come back here and begin to spend time here, because it's important that if we're going to live appropriately, we are growing in our knowledge of ourselves, our inner selves, and growing in our ability to manage the pieces that we begin to discover and to work with them. We'll find that many of the patterns are well entrenched, that the beliefs have become well settled and are very difficult to question. The games and the processes that we've found useful are very difficult to give up, even difficult to discern. We think that's me, that's how I do things, and we see how it is that these have become part of us. So questioning them, even wanting to reflect on them, is a bit challenging. The patterns are deeply ingrained, and lots of what we have developed as a lifestyle, as a way of living, is to avoid the discomfort of the areas that we don't like, and to put more of our energy and more of our emphasis, more of our focus on that which we want to see happen, on that which we think is important, on that which we think we value. But the reality is that God doesn't meet us in our successes, in our little victories. God meets us in our pain. God meets us in our struggle. God meets us in the place where we've been wounded and we've closed up and closed down. And so Jesus wants us to, as our healer, like when we go to a doctor, he doesn't say, "Where are you feeling fine?" He says, "Where are you hurting?" And Jesus comes to us and in relationship has compassion on us and says, "Where are you hurting?" And that's where he wants to meet us, and that's where he wants to heal us and do the work of inner transformation. And so it comes as no surprise that Jesus invites us to journey with him in relationship. When he chose his 12, it says Jesus chose 12 that they might live with him. And for those 3 years of his public ministry, they followed him everywhere, and through daily examples and experiences, through teachings, through ups and downs, through needs, through whatever they were going through day by day, they were learning who Jesus was, and more than that, and with that, they were learning who they were and how they were and what they were. Because we see so often issues of prominence, issues of misunderstandings, all the issues that were coming up. Jesus was using practical experience, practical examples to show them and to help them to find a better way, a new way. And so Jesus comes into our lives and wants us to be in relationship with him, to do that same thing, to grow into a presence that is liberating. He wants us to take time with him. He wants to surprise us with events, with people, with memories, with things that happen in the day. And in that surprise wants us to begin to explore different ways of being, an invitation to different ways of responding, so that we don't respond out of our usual, habitual, stuck way that we've always done, but that we're learning, we're growing, we're truly becoming, as his disciples, as learners, followers, how to be more authentic and less game-driven or pattern-driven or prejudice-driven or assumption-driven. And so we will be surprised, but we need to learn to listen to his words carefully, because everybody heard his words when he was speaking on earth, but only some were changed by them. Others were appalled by them. Others were infuriated and wanted to, and in fact did, kill him because of his words. But when we begin to discern his words, we find that, like Peter, we say these are words of life. They're not dead words, they're living words, because they speak into our hearts, they speak into who we are, and they speak freedom into our being. The two on the road to Emmaus, when they had heard him, said afterwards that their hearts were burning, were alive, were hot, as they were hearing his words. And his presence has that effect on us. We start to discern certain words have got a different feeling, a different weight. And there are words that are being spoken to us, words of encouragement, words of rebuke maybe, words of needing to, matters being needed to resolved, forgiven. So the partnership is not one of expectation where we get judged when we do wrong. The partnership is one of companionship, of compassion, of walking together, of sharing experiences, of sharing joys and pain, of sharing what's happening, and the invitation to continuously learn to be how Jesus wants us to be. We also need to realize that this is not a once-off task or a short job. This is a daily learned pattern. This is a way of being that is practiced daily. When he says, pick up your cross daily and follow me, it's not just a flash in the pan. It's a habit we learn. It's a way of being, a way of being present that becomes part of us. And so going forward, as I said, this is not a short exercise. This is something that we probably will do for the rest of our lives, because finding what it is that's holding us back, finding what it is that causes us to mistrust or to not follow, is something that we're constantly needing to evaluate and deal with. And so the inner life really is the place of restoration, the place of healing. We find that when the inner life is ignored, much of who we are is shaped and defined by what's on the outside, and we're left reacting and fighting or withdrawing from whatever's happening on the outside. The more we become centered and focused on the inner self and releasing, becoming who Christ or Jesus wants us to be on the inner self, the more we find we live from the center out. And as such, we're able more and more to actually make a difference in our world and to be a presence that is transformative, which is what Jesus wants us to be. Not victims of our environment and our society and our relationships, but actually formers and transformers of all that we're part of. And that is how we will change our world, by changing ourselves. So I trust that this has been helpful, and I trust that we will be able to continue this relationship. I call you friends. I remember a song from my youth, a stranger's just a friend you haven't met. So we've met as strangers and now as friends, and I look forward to more connection. And as I said, we will be dealing with some of the aspects of the inner life on Monday nights, not this coming Monday because that's Easter Monday and it's a public holiday, but thereafter. So I'll put short posts up on our website, relating.com, and hopefully we can delve deeper into this mysterious and wonderful gift of life that God has given us. So thanks very much for joining me, and God bless you all. Bye.